Okay guys, a video on expanding expressions just before we launch into our quadratics unit. So I'm just going to go through just a refresher from last year. These first examples here are involving one bracket. So the idea is to get rid of the brackets, that's what expanding means. So we use the distributive law, something called the distributive law, okay, to get rid of the brackets. So what that means is everything inside gets multiplied by everything outside. Okay, so remembering negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Okay, it's really important that you remember your directed number arithmetic in these type of questions. Okay, so the next one, same again, 2x times 1 and 2x times negative x. Remember that negative there belongs to the number that comes after it, or pronumeral. Okay, so 2x times 1 is just 2x, and 2x times negative x is negative 2x squared. Okay, so again, question C, they're going to get a little bit trickier from now. So even if you've got a fraction, same rules apply. It's that times that, and that times that. Okay, so 2 over 7 times 14. Okay, so this is for 14x. 17 times 14x plus 2 over 7 times 3. Okay, so fractions are involved, so test your knowledge of fractions. Okay, so we can think of it as a multiplying of two fractions together. Okay, so in this case, the 7 and the 14 cancel out. That'll be 2. That'll be 1. And in this case here, we can't do anything really there. So we just multiply it out. So let's do the first one here. 2 times 2x will be 4x. And 1 times 1 is 1. So just let's leave that as 4x. And the second one here, this bit, is going to be, so 2 times 3 is 6. And 7 times 1 is 7. Okay, so that's a positive answer. So there's your answer there. Okay, the last one here has got two brackets in it. Okay, so we've got to do two separate expansions, and then we're going to simplify. Okay, so x times 2x, x times negative 1, negative x times 3, and negative x times negative x. Okay, so let's work through this. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Negative x times 3 is negative 3x. And negative x times negative x is positive x squared. Okay, so that's not the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for like terms now. So to simplify, we've got some groups of x squared here and a group of x squared there. We've also got some groups of x here and here. Okay, so 2x plus 2x squared is 3x squared, and negative x take away 3x is negative 4x. Okay, now that's as simple as it can get. Okay, with removing the brackets. Alright, so let's move on to some more difficult ones. So these are called binomial products. Okay, this lot here, I'll actually write that down. So binomial products. Binomial just means two numbers. Okay, so you may remember a technique called FOIL. FOIL. Okay, so which just what it stood for was first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so we've got our first terms, we've got our second, our outer terms, our inner terms, and our last terms. Okay, and they're all multiplied together. Okay, so you're going to get 4 terms, and if the pronumeral is the same at the start, you can be able to simplify it. Okay, so x times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, you may be able to see that these two in the middle are like terms, so 4x plus 5x is 9x, so x squared plus 9x plus 20, okay, is your answer there. Okay, now these second two here are actually called special products. I might just write that. Let's see if I can write that down here. These ones are called special products. Let's see if it works. Nope. Okay. So you might remember these things. We did them earlier this year. Okay. So just as a refresher, x minus 4 squared is x minus 4 times x minus 4, but we had a quick way. This is actually called a difference of two squares. Sorry, I got that wrong. That's actually a perfect square. The next one's a difference. Okay, this is called a perfect square. Okay, now you could use FOIL to expand this, but I'm going to use the quick method. Okay, so the shortcut. So if it's a perfect square, basically what we do is we square the first term, we get x squared, and you're going to end up with three terms. So the last one is squared as well. So negative 4 squared is going to be positive 16. Okay, now the middle term is, here we go. Okay, so the middle term is this number times this number times 2. Okay, so x times negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Okay, so that's what goes in the middle here. Okay, and that can be tricky to remember. It takes a bit of practice. Okay, it's just a shortcut of FOIL. Okay, this last one is called a difference of two squares, or dots, we call it for short. Now, if this is the case and you have two terms that are the same but differ from only plus and minus, all you have to do is square the first term and then take away the square of the second. Okay, so it's 2x all squared minus 1 all squared. Okay, so simplifying that out, that's 4x squared minus 1. Okay, and that's why it's called a difference of two squares. We've got two square numbers and a difference, or takeaway in the middle. Yeah, finally, I'll just quickly go through these. These are the same. Okay, so I'll quickly go through these ones. These have got some coefficients in them, so they make them a bit trickier. Okay, FOIL again. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. Negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. And negative 1 times positive 5 is negative 5. Okay, these middle two terms are like terms. So 10x minus 3x is 7x, so 6x squared plus 7x minus 5 is your answer. Okay, now this one here, B, has actually got, you've got a number out front of the brackets. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to expand these two brackets first, and then we're going to times everything by 2. Okay, so we're going to use the same technique as we did for the ones above it. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is 2x, or negative 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Okay, negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Okay, now remember, all this is in brackets, and we're going to times everything by 2, because we have to. It tells us to do that in the question. So, let's simplify this by collecting like terms. Okay, so 2. Normally I'd be working down the page, just the way these questions are set out, working across the page. So, my 5x plus 6. Okay, and I'm just going to times everything by 2 now. So once if you've got a brackets, to get rid of the brackets, you have to times everything inside by everything out of it. Okay, so 2 times 2x squared, and 10x plus 12. Okay, so that's the second one. And the last one here, finally, it's a long video, this one, x times x. Okay, we're going to do two separate FOILs. Now, if you don't see okay, so this one's a bit tricky because there's a takeaway here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 1 there, okay, because this negative applies to everything after it, okay, because, yeah, if there's nothing there, there's a 1 there, okay, so This video is going to go for ages. Anyway, x squared, x times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, that's the whole first expression there. Now this next one, same again. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 there, and I'll show you what happens. So x squared minus 5x minus 2x plus 10. Okay, so what this does is, it actually, this negative 1 times all this will change the signs of everything inside this bracket here. Okay, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to simplify it. So x squared, these are like terms, plus 6x plus 8. Now, these are like terms here. Okay, that's negative 7x. Okay, now what this is going to do is this is going to have the effect, this negative 1, of changing the signs of all these terms. Okay, so negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 7x is positive 7x. And negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. Okay, so we've eliminated all our brackets. Now let's collect like terms. So x squared terms are here. They happen to cancel each other out. X squared take away x squared is 0. 0. 6x plus 7x is 13x. Oops. 13x. And 8 take away 10 is negative 2. Okay, so that was a bit of a complicated one. You have to be really careful with all your adding and subtracting negative numbers in these. Okay, so that is 5A, expanding expressions. Good luck.